Good afternoon and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin and I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Imagine America Foundation. Joining me on today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are extremely excited about today's career topic, STEM careers in the transportation industry with Universal Technical Institute, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, please let me refer any and all inquiries to our website, www.imagine-america.org.
Since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country, desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background.
Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very briefly outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A in the Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 2:25, we will then present any and all questions offered by the participants. We will address as many questions as possible and provide written response in follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 2:30 p.m. So without taking any time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you guys, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'll get right into the agenda today. Threefold. We have challenges facing the workforce. We'll follow that up with opportunities in the transportation industry, and then we will close with Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. Always like to open with talking about the changing workforce because it is a significant change. In the 20th century, you can see we were very much an agricultural manufacturing economy with service mixed in there just a little bit. You can see in the 21st century, that's almost reversed completely to a total service-oriented economy. You should be surprised by that. If you own a house, a car, a washing machine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you try to get someone to work on something, let alone somebody who's qualified, it's very difficult now. So we've become very much service-oriented. You also might look at this chart and say, oh my gosh, we went from 41% to 2% in agriculture. What's going on here? Well, really nothing. We're feeding more people with 2% than 41%. How? Through technology. But with technology goes service, because you have to have technicians to service that technology. A recent survey was done with 150,000 students asked to gauge their interest in career options, grades 6 through 12. As you can see, 3% pick skilled trades as a career choice. The same group then picked 45% for a STEM career program. There lies the disconnect because they don't see a connection between STEM and skilled trades. Unfortunately, we have educators in this country that don't see that connection either. They tend to think of STEM as more white collar than blue collar. I like to say STEM is all collars because it really permeates our entire economy and our workforce. STEM career growth is phenomenal. In the past few years and leading through 2027, it's predicted that STEM jobs will grow by over 13%. I personally think that's a conservative estimate. I think we'll see higher than that. All other jobs, about 9%. But the significant difference is when you start looking at earning potential. If you break it down by hour, a non-STEM career will average about $19 an hour. A STEM career, almost $39 an hour. And when you take that even further and go over the entire year, you can see a non-STEM career just over $38,000. STEM career, almost $87,000. So you think about 1 year, but compound that through the course of a career, whether that be 15, 20, 25, 30, maybe 35 years, that's a significant amount of earnings disparity between the two. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if you choose a non-STEM career, that means you're going to be poor. That's not necessarily the case. It's just that the statistics bear out that a STEM career will have more earning potential than a non-STEM career overall. Two statistics. The first one is that just over 20% of the jobs in this country right now require a bachelor's degree for entry. Then we take that a step further, that almost half of the college grads, meaning people that have a bachelor's degree, are walking around, they're either not using it or they're in a career where they didn't need it to begin with. That's kind of sad when you think the time, the energy, and the money that they spent to get this bachelor's degree, and there's nothing wrong with getting a bachelor's degree, but that may not have been the best career pathway for them. That's why we have to do a better job with career readiness and career pathways with students today. I talk a lot about the old smart versus the new smart. So you say, what is the old smart? Well, pretty simple. You get into the best school you possibly can. We've all seen the television shows where, so-and-so is waiting on hands and feet. They're excited about getting their letter from the college, see if they're going to get accepted and all this. And that's what we try to get into the best school we possibly can. And then once we get there, figure out what it is we're going to do. And you might laugh at that, but how many of you changed your majors? Because I know I did 3 times. So then once we figure out what it is we want to do, then we come out the front doors, degree in hand, go, here I am, world, hire me. It just doesn't work any longer. It just doesn't fit the needs that we have today. You might even look at that and say, well, how ridiculous is that? Nobody does that. Well, I would refer you to the recent admissions scandal where parents were buying their sons and daughters way into school, so they could be in a prestigious school, the USCs, the Stanfords, these kind of schools. And what's ironic is that many of the students didn't want to go in the first place. And what they get for it? Fines and jail time. So, the old smart just doesn't work anymore. So then we move to the new smart. What's the biggest difference between the two? The student. What's the one question we ask all little kids? What do you want to be when you grow up? You high school counselors out there, I challenge you the next time a junior or senior walks in, ask them, what do they want to be when they grow up, and get the look on their face. But that's what we do. We stop asking. We stop trying to figure out what it is that students want to do. So that's the main focus. What are they good at? And then what program do they need? Do they need a bachelor's degree? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe they just need an associate's degree, or they just need an internship, or maybe they need a competency-based credential, some kind of a certificate or diploma, whatever the case may be. Then we pick the school. It's just the opposite. The old smart, we pick the school first. And the new smart, we pick the school last. University of Florida, Florida State, would that be the best school for a student that wants to become a welder? Or they want to go into auto technician training or something like that? Maybe not. So we have to think about that when we're preparing students. The rule of 1-2-7. It's a very simple rule, but it applies today. If you add 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10. So for every 10 careers that are available out there today, right now, only 1 requires a master's degree or higher. Only 2 require a bachelor's degree. As we said a while ago, about 20%. 7 of the 10 careers available today, right now, only require competency-based credentials, meaning a degree or a diploma or an associate's degree. Yet, we are pushing students into colleges and universities at almost a 70% clip. So you can see what we're doing is just the opposite of what the economy is dictating we should be doing. And that's why we have the skilled technicians gap that we have today. I educate educators. So I'm doing with you right now, and I do that all over the country. But you work with parents and students. I know parents can be difficult because they're kind of part of that old smart. So we have to do a better job of educating parents and students, helping them understand that skilled trades and STEM are one and the same. We also have to help our parents and students understand that not everybody's cut out to go to college or the university. That university for all myth, that has to go by the wayside. You have students that would benefit from other programs. We don't need to push everybody into college. We have other career pathways that they could explore. And then finally, what are employers looking for to begin with? They're looking for competency-based credentials. What do you bring to the table? That's what they're looking for. The second part of our agenda today is opportunities in the transportation industry. I don't care if you have a car, a truck, a boat, a motorcycle, an ATV, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. They're rolling or floating computers. Technology permeates these vehicles today. The technology is exciting. Some people, they just get excited about all the gadgets and things that are on cars now. And they think, well, how cool is this? And, how convenient, all these things. When I think of the technology, I think of safety. A great example is the backup camera. We've all heard the horror stories about somebody, backing over a child, sometimes their own child. Can you imagine the horror of that? But with the backup cameras, that's virtually gone now. Because we can look and we can see, and they're getting better and better every year. So they're clear, they cover all the way down the bottom, all the way, so that we can see someone there. You really notice that if you have, like I do, a vehicle that doesn't have a backup camera and then one that does, because you really have grown to rely on it. Another great example is the blind spot indicator. We've all been honked at. We start to pull over. It's like, gosh, where'd they come from? Didn't see them because they were in our blind spot. But with the blind spot indicator, we have sensors around the car, the truck, that tell us what's around us. So once again, another safety feature. And I can go on and on and on, But the problem is we have to have technicians to work on these things. That's exemplified by a recent article I read about farmers looking for older equipment rather than buying the new equipment. Say, wow, how sad is that? Because with the new equipment, they could have better yields. They could, put out more food, make more money, but they're worried because they can't work on the new stuff because it's so high tech. And they're also worried that if they can't work on it, they can't find somebody to work on it, and they can't afford to have equipment down in the fields. So they're looking for older equipment, and that's just a shame. We've got to find a way to get more technicians out there. There's over 1.3 billion vehicles worldwide, 273 million of those right here in the United States. It's predicted that by 2028, there will be 1.1 million technician jobs available. That's mind-boggling, but that shows you the distress the transportation industry is under right now. And then finally, we move through to the third part of the agenda today, and that's Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. Who is UTI? Well, Bob and Lee told you at the very beginning, we are the leading provider of technicians in the country in the transportation industry. We have 12 campuses nationwide. We've placed over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their chosen field. And notice I said chosen field. Just going into, getting a job somewhere doesn't count. We want them to get into what they want, what they're looking for, what they like to do, what their dream was. And we have over 220,000 graduates in our now 56-year history. Our training programs, we train in 8 different areas: auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. So those 8 different areas. You can't just come to UTI. You have to be invited. So how does that happen? Through a personal interview with the student, their family, and a UTI representative. And notice I said, and their family. We won't interview a student by themselves. We want the family involved so they know what their son or daughter is looking at, what they want to do. Plus, the interview is important for us because it helps us to find out, is the student the right fit for us, and are we the right fit for them? But the best part about the interview is we're trying to find out what I mentioned earlier. What's the student love to do? What do they want to be when they grow up? Those questions we want to find that out. When you look at these, you think, okay, just 8 areas. Really, within these 8, there are hundreds, thousands of different career opportunities within these 8. Let's say they love cars, but they really don't see themselves turning wrenches. They don't really want to work on cars, but they want to be around cars. What could they do? Well, they could be a service writer. That's the person when you take your car into the dealership to get worked on, that's the first person you're going to meet there that's going to help you, so they can get your car to the right technician for what's wrong with the vehicle. Or go work for an insurance company as a claims adjuster. When you hit a deer, it's pretty easy to see what's happened on the outside of the car. What's difficult is all the sensors, all the internal parts that have been damaged that you don't see. And it's going to take a trained technician to make make a determination of what's wrong with your car. So that's why insurance companies love our graduates, because they make great claims adjusters. So there's lots of different opportunities, or career pathways. We're very much industry aligned technology. What does that mean? Well, we teach online and hands-on together. We were doing that before the pandemic, so this is nothing new. Did we have to change a little bit? Yes, and I'll talk about that here in just a minute. But why do we do it? Because it aligns with industry. As I just told you, we're short on technicians, so a dealership cannot afford to send their technicians off for additional training. That's time and money. They just don't have it, so they do it online. So that's why we do what we do, because we helped our students, our graduates, when they leave our program, they go into a dealership and they know exactly what to expect, because we've already trained them in those areas. And then, of course, the hands-on aspect, that's, to working on the cars themselves. And of course, we teach learning by doing, and doing until they get it right. Our education model is very simple. We teach one course at a time. For 3 weeks, we immerse that student in that area. What we're doing is competency-based credentials, where we want the student to understand this level, then they can move to another level, and then another level. And that's how we train our technicians and kind of grow them from the ground up, you might say. As I mentioned, we had to change a little bit, as many had to do. We had to become CDC compliant. You have to remember that this is an essential industry that we're in, and so we couldn't just close up shop and say, well, sorry, we just have to wait till this is over, because we still needed technicians. You all have cars still needed worked on. So we had to become CDC compliant. What do we do? Assign doors where students can enter and leave. Temperature check of everybody that comes into the building. Face coverings, we require those. Reduce lab sizes so we could meet the 6-foot separation and the social distancing requirement. Washing of hands, cleaning and disinfecting constantly. And then, of course, we offer phone support if we have that parent or student that still just didn't feel safe coming in, then we have other alternatives for them as well. The other change we had to make was virtual presentations. Some schools shut down completely. Some went to a hybrid model. It's varied quite a bit. But as I said, it's essential industry. We had to have a way to keep reaching students. So we developed a virtual platform. And we can do that for you and for your students. We offer presentation through several platforms. We can use Zoom, we can use Microsoft Teams, or if you have a platform that you prefer, we can use that as well. But it's a way to reach out to the students and show them what their opportunities are. You see an example on the right. These are some of the slides that we show them. Some of them that I've shown you today already. Once again, not a UTI infomercial. That's not what we do. We go in and we talk to students about all of their career opportunities, not just some, because all students are going to be different. So we want to help you by showing them post-secondary opportunities that's available to them. We have a national presence. That's important for a couple of reasons. Number one is we're well known. You'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and say UTI and they wouldn't know who we are. They're going to know who we are. In fact, we probably have graduates working there. But the other reason for the national presence is for job placement, because you may go to the Orlando campuses, but then you decide, that you want to transfer to another state, or you have family in California, or whatever the case may be. You have the opportunity to do that. Because of our national presence, we have that kind of power to help you to find career opportunities all over the country. We have over 35 industry relationships. As I say often, we're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students for these types of opportunities. In fact, just a week ago, we announced that for the first time ever, we have a manufacturer training program in the agricultural industry. We just signed with AGCO Corporation. So we're pretty excited about that. And we keep adding industry relationships on it. And what is it? Why is this important to our students? Because it gives them more career opportunities. One of the things that we're very proud of is our TRIP program, Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program. And what I decided to do for this set of webinars was to give you a couple of examples of TRIP opportunities that are there for our students. So here's one, the Hendrick Advantage. The company has 100 dealers representing 29 brands, currently operating in 13 different states, over 10,000 employees. So what is the package? It's tuition reimbursement. They're going to pay you an additional, or the student additional $300 a month on top of their salary. They can use that to make a student loan payment so they can get their student loans paid off. A tool voucher, $200 a month for 10 months. There's $2,000 for tools because they're going to need tools. Relocation available on a case-by-case basis. As I heard one service manager say, we're not going to lose a student over a couple $1,000s. We're going to help them any way we can. And then ASC reimbursement and paid factory training. And then finally, a comprehensive benefits package. That's Hendrick. Here's another one, the Penske Auto Group. The company, over 150 U.S. locations, over 40 world-class brands, a Fortune 500 company. The package, tuition reimbursement, $420 per month, once again, on top of their salary for 48 months. Tool program, $2,000 reimbursement. 10-year bonus, $3,000 bonus paid after 48 months of employment. So you see some great opportunities. Some statistics you might be interested in. Our current TRIP numbers today, right now, 4,763 participating employer locations. This is all over the country, right? The average TRIP package is $13,886. Average tool package, $2,731. Average relocation, $1,956. Average sign-on bonus, $3,011. Average retention bonus, $4,170. So you can see there are many ways for students to get their education paid for through UTI. And these are the kind of opportunities that are afforded our graduates. One of the things that we love to do is we love to talk about our past graduates, and we have them come to events because we want our future students to see what it's really going to be like for them. So we encourage our graduates to come in and speak to the students because these are their peers. They'll listen to them and they'll tell them the good, the bad, the ugly about everything. But they're going to show them, you know, all the opportunities they have with Universal Technical Institute. As I said, we are Title IV funded, so we require the FAFSA to see who qualifies for financial aid. We offer over $15 million in sponsored scholarships. We offer housing grants, institutional grants, of course, the TRIP package I just talked to you about, and then third-party programs to help cover outside expenses. You know, I'm a retired educator. I know what you guys do on a daily basis. Although this year I can't really say that because it's been definitely a different year. But what we want to do, you know, we want to partner with you. We know what you do with your students, and we know the struggles that you're having right now. We offer, as my colleague Jerry Elner says, we have a buffet of opportunities to offer you. These are all complimentary. We don't charge for any of this stuff, but they are ways to help reach your students to keep them actively engaged, because we know you're struggling with that right now with all the virtual stuff that's going on. So we want to help you any way we possibly can if you need that help. And so you just need to reach out to me and I can show you the opportunities that we have for you and for your students. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and of course our website, uti.edu. And then finally, I want to talk to you. I always get questions about, hey, I need help with parents. You know, what can I do with that? You know, you're talking to the choir here, Steve. I get what you're saying. I have a hard time getting that across to my parents. So here's some suggestions. First of all, promote your STEM program. You know, tell them about it. Oftentimes I'll have educators come up to my booth and I'll ask them about their STEM program. Well, we don't do a whole lot. But after talking to them for 5 minutes, they do a lot with STEM. They're just not promoting it. So promote those things. Do it through an open house for parents and go to the middle school level too. But get parents involved. Just don't have a day, have some, cookies and punch in the back and they just kind of mill around. Give them something to do. Have an activity, a STEM activity of some kind, and that'll get them excited and get them involved. Involve industry. And that kind of goes along with this. Industry wants to help you. They need employees. So they're willing to invest the time and money into you. Career pathways exploration days. Please drop career or college fair. They drop that out of there. I didn't say drop college. College is important. That's an avenue for them. But when you say college fair, they only think about the colleges and universities. They don't think about all the other post-secondary opportunities that are available to them. So make it a career pathways exploration days. And then finally, celebrate the success of all your students, not just a few. Celebrate all of them. And parents love that. They want to see their sons and daughters recognized. And then finally, this is my contact information, my email address, my phone number. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, you need some help on some of these things, you want part of our buffet of opportunities that we have, I'd be glad to help you with that. Thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with me today, and good luck with the rest of your school year. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of our presentation. I'm also going to throw up a poll here. So if you want us to reach out to you via email with any upcoming events for your seniors, whether that's virtual or in person, please indicate so on the poll so that we know who to send the information to. It does look like we have a question that's come in. This person wants to know if we will share some or all the slides with the attendees. The answer to that is yes. We are going to be sending you the recording of this presentation, likely tomorrow morning. I'm going to edit this tonight and then send it to you tomorrow so you can rewatch it or share it with any of your students or fellow colleagues as well. Another question, this person, Dr. Coyle, wants to know about housing. Is that something that's available at your Orlando campus in case you have students who, may be looking to come from out of town? Maybe they're, in Georgia or someplace else. Can you talk a little bit about the housing?
Yes, we do have housing. They're not dorms. They're actually apartments that we lease. We have two different options for students there in Florida. And we also offer housing grants to help students. This is separate from the actual UTI to help with school, but these will help with housing too. So yes, we will definitely make housing available to your students.
All right, awesome. Now this person wants to know if Pell grants can be used to offset tuition. I'm guessing he wants to know if you guys accept Title IV, etc.
Yes, yeah, we are Title IV funded, so therefore we have students fill out the FAFSA, and so yes, they are Pell Grant eligible.
Awesome. Okay. This person wants to know about, this is a question we get a lot, Dr. Coyle, about the cost comparisons to community colleges or junior colleges. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what the difference in costs and maybe experience is going to be like between Universal Technical Institute and maybe a community college or junior college?
Yeah, absolutely. I get this question all the time, as you just said. We get about every webinar. And yes, the first thing I talk about is length of the program. You're going to be in community college 2 to 3 years. That's pretty much it. Whereas at UTI, you're going to be in about a year. So a student could potentially be 19 years old and they're out working in the field. So that gets the earning potential up. The second part is the outcomes. Our graduation rate is some of the tops in the country. We community colleges to be around 22-23% graduation rate, and we're over triple that. So that makes a difference too. But I think the biggest one is the trip employers. The fact that we have all these employers willing to invest in our graduates and help make school affordable. I mean, you could potentially go to UTI free, but they don't just pass those out. There's a catch. They got to work. They got to show up to class. They got to work hard while they're in class, have that work ethic, because the people in the industry, they want the best they can get their hands on. And so those really the major differences.
Yeah, I think it's great what you said, and especially the relationships with the employers, I believe, is probably the biggest, one of the biggest attractive parts of Universal Technical Institute, just knowing that you can get industry specific training that will make you very employable. I think that's great. Okay, just a few house cleaning items. I want to thank all of you for taking your time out of today to be with us. As I mentioned before, this session has been recorded, so we will be sending you the recording likely tomorrow morning. There is a quick survey when you leave this meeting. If you wouldn't mind just answering the 4 or 5 questions that are on the survey, it would really help us better understand, how are we addressing maybe some of the concerns you had coming into this presentation? What did you learn, so that we can improve any future presentations that we do. But before closing, I just want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules. I want to thank Dr. Coyle for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage each and every one of you to contact him directly with any future questions. If you've indicated on the poll that you would like more information on upcoming events, we will be sending you something likely tomorrow morning as well as Dr. Coyle's contact information so you can get in touch with him. On behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Dr. Coyle and myself, I want to thank you and goodbye.